a championship parade took place on Thursday, and I did not have an intention of talking about it, but it did cross my radar, and there's some things that happened that I thought were interesting. So it was a celebratory kind of day. And I know for a fact, based on email and people that call this show and send messages on social media, that the Maller Militia was well represented in the Mile High City. We had a number of people that are up all night with us that stayed up all day. Some of them took the night off, but they went and were hanging out at the parade. So if you didn't see this, there were thousands of fans that gathered at the parade, just like your standard parade there, to celebrate the Nuggets ending the 47 years without a championship. And they had speeches, declarations, celebrations, a whole lot of booze was everywhere. So let's discuss the question. Having seen the video online, I did not watch it live because I was sleeping when it was going on, but I did watch the key parts of it online. So the question is, grade the Nuggets parade celebration. So I'm going to give it a B+. I'm not going A. I'm going to give it a B+. I've got Bart Simpson, Dr. Pimple Popper, and Skip Bayless. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a nice, shiny trophy, which is what the Nuggets now have after they won those 16 playoff games. So, hey, let's start with the crowd. We had a discussion about the crowd in a previous episode of the show. They were there, loud and proud. The alcohol was in the air everywhere. Happy days are here again. Did you see the crowd estimate? You see how many people were there? Well, the city of Denver estimated, key part of this estimation, they estimated that 750,000 men, women, and children showed up to celebrate. Now, that surpasses the Colorado Avalanche, the local hockey team there that won not that long ago there. They had 500,000, they claim, at that parade. It is less than they say the Broncos had. The Broncos had 1 million people. So I'm skeptical of these guesstimations. I think it's kind of like looking at the clouds and saying, look, that cloud looks like a fire-breathing dragon. I'm pretty sure it is. The Metro Denver area, if you include all of the suburbs around Denver and all the other little communities around the greater Denver area, has 2.9 million people. So if 750,000 people showed up, and we'll assume all of those people lived in Metro Denver, that area, because most people aren't going to be traveling from that far away. And how many wild Nugget fans are there when you get further and further away from Denver? So that's my assumption. I did some back of the napkin math. So if you have 2.9 million people in the greater Denver area and 750,000 of them showed up to the parade, that means that almost 26% of the population showed up to partay with the Joker. I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people there, but they just pull these numbers out of their tuchus is what they do. Now, meanwhile, Coach Michael Malone. Now, he was a man on a mission, completely knockered. It was happy hour for Michael Malone, and among his quotes, "We're not satisfied. We're not done yet." He said, "We're greedy bastards." He also said, "I got a crazy idea. I'm a little emotional," he said. "Let's do this blank again." I'll use the word crap, he said the other word. But he was bouncing around. He had a ball cap on. He had sunglasses, had a T-shirt, had a chain around his neck. You know what he looked like? In the cartoon bubble above my head. And if you've seen a photo of Michael Malone, I want you to let me know if you back me up on this, because in the cartoon bubble in my head, I imagine if Bart Simpson was a 52-year-old man that coached an NBA team, that's what he would look like. Like, maybe the hat would be backwards. The hat wasn't backwards. But other than that, like Michael Malone, I'm thinking that's Bart Simpson right there. That's how Bart would act at a parade. All right, now, you also had Jeff Green issue a tribute to the Supersonics. He's one of two players left who played in Seattle for the hometown team there in Seattle before they were rudely kicked out of the Pacific Northwest and headed to the Dust Bowl in Oklahoma. How about Aaron Gordon, who was Gronk-like? And we actually have a soundbite we're going to play here. So there's this reporter for the local TV there in Denver, Nick Rothschild is his name. And he asked a very standard cookie-cutter question, trying to get an emotional response. So Aaron Gordon was asked, is it hitting you that you're an NBA champion, yet you still, or do you need time, right? Or do you need time? All right, so that was something like that. But anyway, here is the response. Let's go to the audio tape. Listen to how Aaron Gordon handled that question.
Is it hitting you that you're an NBA champion yet, or you still need time?
You want to know what's hitting me is those Modelo's.
The Modelo's! It was Modelo madness. Isn't Gordon the guy that walked around downtown Denver in his basketball shorts with the fans? That was kind of cool. I thought that was neat. You had KCP, not to be confused with KFC, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, the Nuggets guard. He did the old stone cold beer smash, chugging some brewskis. Couple at the same time. Why not? All right, now. Page 2 here. So one of the viral moments at this parade happened when a guy named Vic Lombardi, he's a gas bag and longtime talking head, does TV and radio in Denver. He's been a media personality there for some time, and he was at the podium. He was introducing the Nuggets head coach, Michael Malone, to the crowd. And rather than just give a standard declaration, here's the head coach for the Denver Nuggets, Michael Malone. No, you're at a rally. You gotta put a little razzmatazz on it at a rally. So listen here. Let's go to the audio tape. Listen to how Lombardi introduced the Denver coach.
He came into this world as the son of a coach, but in these playoffs, he became the Lakers' daddy.
No!
Who, me?
Can we play that again? I'd like to. You know what this sounds like to me? Have you ever watched the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest on Coney Island, which is coming up next month? I got to get Joey Chestnut on my podcast again. But it's coming up next month in New York, and the carnival barker guy that does the introductions, that's what this sounds like. But again, this is introducing the coach of the Nuggets. Listen.
He came into this world as the son of a coach, but in these playoffs, he became the Lakers' daddy.
Yes. He ate 728 chicken wings, 72 fully loaded, piping hot tacos, and had no reversal of fortune. Here he is. Yeah. So, did Denver's parade celebration cross the line by poking fun at the Lakers? No! I'm shaking my head. No! I got no skin in the game. As an outsider, I loved it. Give me more. I thought it was hilarious. That's what these events are for. It's like going to a political rally. You're trying to energize the party's base at those things. And it was chicken soup for the soul is what it was. It was Dr. Pimple Popper popping up on stage and performing a pus-filled, inflamed cyst. Removing the cyst, just taking it off the face like that, right? But move the cyst, get the medical equipment and all that. And then you pop the cyst and you remove the cyst, and there's a bunch of purple and gold pus oozing out of that.
Stop
orifice. Yeah, making it rain. All right, meanwhile, I want to get away from the Nuggets parade for a second because I want to go back to a good punching bag for the show, an old punching bag for the show who's good. In Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns. Now, he said the same day that the Nuggets won the championship, this was released on some fledgling podcast. Karl Anthony Towns said he believes the Minnesota Timberwolves run from last year, I guess 2 years ago now because the Nuggets have just won, but he says Minnesota's 2022 run in the play-in tournament with Pat Beverly was more special than the Nuggets 2023 championship. Yeah. He said that in a recent podcast interview. Now, his logic, he said, since the Wolves were thrown together and didn't have a lot of time to practice and it was a new team, that's more impressive than Denver, who's been together for several years and they know each other and all that. So I wanted to talk about this. So Karl Anthony Towns, his quote again, saying the Wolves' run of 2022, which wasn't really much of a run, it was more like a couple of steps and you drop dead, was more special than the Nuggets' title run. Help me understand that. Well, I'm going to help you understand that. So this one is simple. Okay, and I'm going to put all of these recent quotes from Karl Anthony Towns into the same basket. I have now determined the Minnesota Timberwolves star who's got that big contract. This is all part of a sinister plan. It's his sizzle reel. And Kat is going to email a copy of this to Skip Bayless. This is his demo tape to snatch up the chair that Shannon Sharpe used to sit in on Undisputed. Because Karl Anthony Towns, this guy is an artisan at the bad take. He's a bad take artisan is what he is. And such a bad take guy that he should be doing television. He should. For example, his stance, we talked about this, his stance on his NBA legacy. He also said that if you let me play or call the plays, he said, I can get 40 points anytime. Well, yeah, if you shoot 50 shots, you'll probably get 40 points. But Karl Anthony Towns is a samurai of the hot take. He is. The man's a samurai of the hot take. It's wild.